please.
Master Combs.
Here.
Master Barger.
Here.
Master Tudor.
Here.
Master Botkin.
Present.
Judge Taylor.
Here. At this time, I'd like to ask Pastor Mark Sarver from Church on the Rock to come up and lead us in a word of prayer, please.
Thank you for the opportunity to be here this morning praying, and always a good thing to start the day in prayer. So let's go to the Lord in a word of prayer this morning. Heavenly Father, we come to you, Lord, this morning. First of all, thanking you, God, for your grace that is sufficient, your love, God, that is unconditional, and your mercy, Lord, that is from everlasting to everlasting. And Lord, you tell us in your word that blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord. And what a privilege it is that we have to come before you this morning, before this meeting, to call upon your name, seeking direction. And God, that's exactly what we ask for this morning, for direction. You tell us that it's a wise man that is led by your Spirit. And Father, I pray for direction, for leadership, and God, that the topics discussed today, the decisions that will be made today, God, will be pleasing to you, to be a blessing to this community, this county, and the families, God, that are involved in this great community. And again, we ask your guidance and wisdom and knowledge and understanding to do, God, not as only what's pleasing to man, but even the more so, God, what is pleasing to you. And we bless this council, we bless this meeting and these people here today, that you would be glorified in each and everything that is said and done. For it's in your name, the name of Jesus, we ask and pray. Amen.
Amen.
And amen. God bless you. Thank you again.
At this time, everybody rise. Sheriff, you'll lead us in the pledge, please.
Would face the flag, please. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, Sheriff. Okay. All right. At this time, I need the approval of the minutes from last meeting. Everybody had an opportunity to look over those. I need a motion and a second.
I so move. Second.
Call the roll, please.
Master Combs.
Yes.
Master Barger. Yes. Master Tudor.
Yes.
Master Botkin.
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Treasurer's report will be at our next meeting, which I think will be on the 28th of July. First order of business, Kentucky River Foothills, we're going to actually move them on down the agenda a little bit. They're running a little bit behind this morning, and they'll be here to give us a report by the Transportation Director. Next thing on the agenda is guidelines for a charitable grant program. I just wanted to basically recognize this as court of what we're going to be doing with the monies that we've allocated for charitable giving in our budget this year. We have $85,000 in our budget for charitable giving. We're going to split that in half. We're going to be giving $42,500, and we're going to have a committee. We're going to have an application process that charities can go through, and then that committee would actually recommend to the court who would actually get that allotment of money. The other $42,500 is going to be going into our litter abatement program, which is at solid waste, and then that would allow those charities that didn't qualify or get chosen this year to have another avenue to go through our litter abatement program. Potentially, it could be, those organizations just going out and picking up trash, just the same way that the litter abatement program is already run now. So do y'all have any questions or concerns about that? Okay. Next is the first reading of Ordinance 1506, Madison County Administrative Code. This is our first reading. We will have a second reading on July the 28th. At this time, I need a motion and a second.
I'll make a motion, Judge, that we approve the administrative code first reading.
Second.
Discussion?
I went to one of the meetings there. I'm sure several other magistrates did, and sit in and went over that. And I didn't see a lot of things in it that I had a lot of heartburn with. There was a couple of things in there that I think that we need to discuss on it and work out before we get to the second reading on it. So we'll have to do a little work on it. I mean, it does need some tweakings.
And one of the things that I actually talked to Mark about today, our county attorney, is that, you know, we do have some limitations that we can make changes to it. If we make it stricter, we would actually have to redo the first reading. If it's not as strict, then obviously it won't affect our second reading.
If it winds up being in essence a new document, a new ordinance, a new policy, we have to go through the first process again. If there are not significant changes, we can roll right to the second reading.
Have you been through this, Mark?
Yes,
I mean, all 53 pages?
yes.
Okay. I haven't. I'd like to have a paper copy of it. I didn't attend any meetings. I didn't know there was any meetings. I mean, I'm sure there probably was. Seems like I'm always the last to hear something. And I don't operate on a computer. I'm sure I probably got an email.
Yeah, we sent out emails last
Well, let me tell
Monday.
you, I'm gonna tell this court, and I'll tell you and everybody else. I got a telephone here, I got one at home, and I got an address. I don't operate off a computer. There's a lot of people in Berea and Madison County that don't have computers. I don't have time, when I get a full day in on the farm or wherever I'm at, to come home and get on a computer for 2 hours like a child does. I don't have time for that. And I'm not gonna waste my time with that. So if you wanna contact me, I have a phone. I'm not saying this negative, I'm just saying it positive. I don't fool with computers. What if I didn't have one? How would I know what's going on?
Well, I mean, I guess in the past, that's why the past administration voted to go with iPads, so that you didn't have the expenditures of paper. But, you know, if you need a paper copies of stuff, and that's how,
Well, I'd
that's
like
how
to
you
have a paper
want us to
copy.
communicate, I'll be glad to do that, but I just need to be aware of that.
Okay.
You know,
You
we have meetings the first Wednesday and the third Wednesday of every month. And we've been doing that since I came into office, because I want the magistrates, I want to sit down and be transparent and open with you all, okay?
I appreciate that.
And everybody wants me to respect them, but yet I don't even get phone calls when y'all don't show up to my meetings on Wednesday. You know, and so I just would like for you all to give me the same consideration that I'm giving you all.
Well, the Wednesday before, we were in Louisville. You remember that? That's the reason I wasn't there. We was in Louisville on 4.
Yeah, but last
And I'm
Wednesday,
not
we
knocking-
weren't,
I'm not
you know.
knocking, and I appreciate you meeting with the court like that. What I'm saying is, if I could get a paper copy, then I can make notations on there. Because I've read this, and I've talked to 1 or 2 department heads, and this, one in particular is not happy with it,
Is it a department head or an elected official?
elected official.
Okay.
And you probably know who I'm talking about. But they're not satisfied with it, and I want to read it all the way through. I haven't had a chance to read it all the way through. I've tried to, but
Well, I'm looking out for this government. I'm looking out for our county. You know, this administrative code is supposed to be adopted yearly, and it has not been adopted since '07. And we've taken a lot of pride. We've worked very hard on it. We've engaged every employee in the county. That's all we did last week, is have listening sessions, and they were open discussion. And there's several of our employees here today, and we got feedback from them, and we took their feedback, and we've implemented it. And you know, we haven't heard anything back from our employees that I'm aware of. And we've asked all of our department heads, hey, what kind of feedback did you get? And we have heard nothing negative whatsoever about it. And so,
well, I'm sure there's a lot of, I'm sure this is good, don't get me wrong, but I just need time to digest it. That's what I'm trying to say.
and that's perfectly fine. I don't really think that'll hold up having
We
the first
waited this
reading
long, I
today.
don't know why you can't wait 2 more weeks before we adopt it.
Well, we would be. It won't go into effect until the second reading. So then if we table this today, then we're gonna have our first reading again in 2 weeks. Just waiting for y'all to say it's okay, or we make a few changes here or there that that it fall under those limitations, and then it just postpones everything 2 weeks. I mean, that's where I think we use legal counsel to see what changes you want to make. You know, if he says that we need to have another first reading, then at that point we do.
I've got some reservations about some things that are in here, and I think we need to wait a little bit and get some more input from the employees and the department heads. I don't think we need to rush into it right now.
Okay. Any other discussion?
I know in the one that I was in, there was some feedback that came back from some of the employees, and I know that Shannon was both there, and Colleen, of course, was giving the class, and I know that you guys answered questions from, in the one that I attended, everyone's questions were answered at that time, and I didn't hear anybody with any negative feedback while I was there. So I don't know how the rest of the classes went, but, I mean, were they similar?
I mean, there was excitement on the face of our employees.
I didn't see anything in there that would keep us from working in the next 2 weeks to try to get it changed, what little needed to be changed. I appreciate the work y'all done on it. I know it took a lot of your time to do it. It looked good to me. And yeah, there's 2 or 3 things in there that I am not happy with either. But there's been plenty of things in this court that I ain't been happy with, but it got done anyway. So I say we need to move on and pass the first reading today, and we'll hash out whatever we need to do in the next 2 weeks.
Any other discussion? So we have a motion on the floor and a second. Call the roll, please.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
No.
Master Botkin?
Yes.
Master Combs?
No.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Next on the agenda is open bids for the road department, oil and oil supplies. Mark, you have the bid.
I do, Judge. There's one bid that's been presented to me. It is dated July 7th at 2:25 from Stevens, Tim Stevens, actually with Apollo Oil, and it was properly sealed. I'll give this to the clerk, and then we can examine it after.
Okay, thank you. Guys, I want y'all to know there on that, this is bulk oil purchase. Scott's looked into how we're purchasing oil right now, and it's gonna save a lot of money actually going with bulk oil purchasing. So, thanks, Mark. Next on the agenda is road department fuel bids. This was tabled from last meeting to get some clarification of how the billing was gonna be done. We did get confirmation from Riley Oil that, of course, they were the successful bidder, low bidder, and we got confirmation from them that they're gonna bill us monthly instead of bi-monthly.
That
So-
was a firm bid. Well, no, I know it's price,
The bidder margin
okay.
is firm, but the actual terminal price is gonna
That
fluctuate.
I
And that-
understand. I don't know why I asked that, but
And there's nothing we can control about that, nothing whatsoever. Yep. So at this time, I need a motion and a second to accept the fuel bid from Riley Oil.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Botkin?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Barger? Yes. Judge Taylor?
Yes. Next is, we advertised for a 2008 Chevy truck. It's a 4-door diesel truck. We felt like that we could get a better price out of that than putting it in the surplus auction. And so we actually opened sealed bids last Friday. We actually had 4 bidders, and Near New Auto was the highest bidder. We had a, do I need to read, Mark, do I need to read who the bidders were and the amounts, or?
Well, it's all public record, so either you can read it
Okay.
or folks can come look at it.
And Near New Auto bid it at $17,009. Abacus Engineering bid it at $13,150. John Powell bid it at $10,751. And Al, I'm not sure what his last name is, I'm even afraid to pronounce it. Galdino is $2,852. So at this time, I would like to ask the court to give us permission to sell this truck to Near New Auto for $17,009.
Was the last bid 2,000 something?
Mhm. And that bid came out of, upstate New York, maybe. I'm sorry, Pennsylvania.
The top bid was $17,009.
Mhm. Top bid was $17,009.
I move we accept the $17,009 bid.
Second.
Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Master Buckin,
Yes.
Master Combs,
Yes.
Master Burger,
Yes.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Next is our county road aid agreement. I ask the court's permission to go into an agreement with County Road Aid for our road aid program. This is $1,430,106.83. That's $1,430,106.83. And that is down about 300,000, which we were expecting that from last year because of the fuel tax. I need a motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Master Combs,
Yes.
Master Burger,
Yes.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Master Buckin.
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Next on the agenda, we have some hires. I'm gonna do these one at a time. First is fire department. You know, we discussed back in the spring that we were gonna try to, upgrade our staff at our fire department. We were short-staffed, and these are two recommendations by the chief and the committee that interviewed. And I need a motion and a second to approve Nicholas Gooch and Gabriel Gamberos at $7.25 an hour. One of the things that I do want to make mention of all of these, I would like for us to, this motion to recommend that they start after a background check. We want to start having that with all hires for county government. And
Have they already been through a drug test and all this?
well, we don't have a drug policy yet, so, but it could be, because we haven't adopted our administrative code yet. But as far as a background check, we can go ahead and have one of those done before that we actually hire. So the motion will actually need to made that it's approved after a clear background check is done.
I'll make a motion, Judge, that we hire these two firefighters based on the chief's recommendation and pending that they have a clean background.
Good.
Second.
Any discussion?
Both of them certified firefighters.
Chief, yeah, if you're gonna speak, please come up to the podium.
Look, Cam Burrows is almost certified and Nicholas is not. He's pretty still green. What he showed me was very strong promise, and I was pretty impressed with the young man, and that was the decision that how we came to our decision.
Didn't have anybody that certified apply?
We had one from Louisville that was certified. We wasn't very impressed with him. I just, I don't know how to put that. He had bigger plans than I think what we're able to give him.
These are some of these co-ops.
Cam Burrows was, he co-opted with me for a one semester. He's been on Whitehall for several years, so I've got to actually see him out on the scene and see how well he works. He's probably one of the best workers I've ever been. I've been around when it comes to firefighting. He's one of them guys you say do it and it's already done.
Right, I was just to say, he worked for me part-time also.
Okay.
Kevin Rose, he's a very, very good officer, very good person.
Very smart young man, very smart. I see a very good future for him.
How long will it take for those two to get certified?
Well, they have to be certified within 1 year from hire date through the State Fire Commission. Usually we can have them certified within about 6 months.
Does that keep them from fighting fire or just?
No, what it does, until they get certified, they're not able to, they don't qualify to get their state incentive. That's really what holds that back. The only thing the State Fire Commission says is that we got to give them a certain 20 hours or certain categories that we have to give them in order for them to actually start responding to fires. And once that happens, it's really up to us whether we feel confident enough that they can handle actually going inside and fighting interior fires.
And they have had their CPAP, right?
Yes, correct.
Yes, yeah.
Both of them.
Chief, and I'm talking to you, but I'm addressing this really to all of our department leaders. When you bring us hiring recommendations, my first assumption is that you've done your due diligence and you're bringing us the absolute best that you can. So when you tell me this is the guy you want, I know you've done your background, you've done your work on it. And I hope that's across the board with every one of our leaders. We've got the responsibility to the taxpayers to bring the absolute best people we can, and I see that across the board with the type of individuals that we have. So, I want to commend you on who you choose, and just keep up the good work over there.
Thank you very much. But very excited about these two guys. I'm really excited about her.
Jimmy, I know the Gooch boy, he's a good, hard-working country boy, and I think he'll do well. He's gonna have to have a lot of training, like all starters, but I feel like he's somebody that can fit in your department.
Yes.
Any other discussion? Call the roll, please.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Botkin?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes.
Thank y'all.
Thanks, Chief. The next is a solid waste driver. The interview committee was Shannon Gordon, Scott Shepard, Scott Tussey, and they selected Billy England at $13 an hour. He does have a CDL, which is a CDL-A, which is a tractor-trailer license, and obviously has some CPR training as well. This will be our solid waste dead animal truck driver. So, and I need a motion and a second the same way as before, pending a background check.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Same thing for you, Scott. I trust you.
Thanks, sir.
All right. We know enough about you to know you bring us the best you can. Well,
Call the roll, please.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Botkin?
yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. At this time, I'd like to ask Tom Moreland to come up to the podium, please. And I want to really have you here today just to thank you for your service to Madison County. You came in several years back when technology wasn't as probably as big as it is becoming today, and you really got our GIS department going. You got us basically on the map, and I really just want to thank you for your service to our county. And I want to tell Mayor Conley, he must have stepped out, but I want to tell Mayor Conley that he's getting a very, very good employee, and I wish you well. And I'd just like to give you a round of applause for your service. Any Masters have any comments?
Well, I'd echo that. You've been very helpful to me since I've been in the 6 or 7 months now, and I certainly appreciate it every minute of it. Thank you.
I think we'll be missing you, Tom, but good luck in the future with your new job.
Thank you, sir.
If I get lost, I'm gonna call you, okay?
That's right. Give me a call.
He knows I hate to see him go. I've never walked in his office and asked him for anything. Usually that day I didn't have it. And if he didn't have it that day, I got a phone call telling me how long it would be because he wasn't gonna get it that day. But he's made that department what it is, and he's got it up and running, and it's good. I mean, he's done his homework. He's top notch.
I agree with everything's been said, and of course, Tom's a personal friend of mine and had been for a long time, but he took something that we never had from the bottom, and look where we are today. And I compliment you for that, and like Judge said, I just wish you'd stay, but I wish you the best with Bria, and I'm sure Bria will be good to you, and I'm sure you'll be good for them.
Thank you.
And good
Thank you
luck.
very much, sir. It's been a pleasure working for and working with all of you. All of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you. At this time, I would like the court's permission to actually promote Megan Tucker into our GIS director. We are going to be giving her a pay increase from where she is now as the specialist to $48,000, and she'll be replacing Tom Moreland. I need a motion in a second.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Well, welcome. I'm hoping that, in the same way with Tom, you've been very helpful to me in the things that I've needed and asked. I know you work directly with them, and you're more than qualified to take in and carry us on forward, so.
Good. I think she's been looking over Tom's shoulder for some time now, and she probably knows how to handle it from here on, so look forward to having her move up new position.
Call the roll, please.
Master Bacon,
Yes.
Master Combs,
Yes.
Master Barger,
Yes.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. The next on the agenda is our 2015 Waste Tire Management Program Agreement. This is agreement with the State Energy Environmental Cabinet, which this is our, I think it's in September. Scott, is that right?
That is correct, Judge. The Waste Tire Removal Program, formerly known as the Waste Tire Amnesty Program, will be September 17th, 18th, and 19th.
In this agreement, this is basically the county's obligation. I'm asking the court's approval to go into this agreement with the Energy and Environmental Cabinet.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Tom, did you, Scott, did you check with city? I mean, was there any way?
Yes, I'm working with City of Berea on that, and we're still hashing out the details, Magistrate Combs, but it looks pretty good to have a second site for that, for this event.
Well, it just make it much more convenient for the people over here in the southern part of the counties. And I understand where you come from. Those have to be transported.
Yeah, we're just working out some technical details, and I can report back to you on that.
I appreciate you doing that.
Yep. Yeah, you're working with Randy on it.
Yes.
Is that correct? Yeah.
That's correct.
Mhm.
Scott, I think this is a good program because there's so many tires that's just thrown out on the side of the road and hard to get disposed of, and offer an amnesty, and all they have to do is bring them in. Anytime you buy a new set of tires, they charge you anywhere from $3 to $5 to dispose of the old ones. So this is a good program to get those off your hands without having to pay an extra fee and dispose of them properly. So I think it's a good program.
Thank you.
Hang in there with it.
Out of that fee that you were mentioning, $1 of the retail fee that for the purchase of a new automobile tire goes for this fund to promote and to fund and to operate these events. So.
Thanks, Scott. Call the roll, please.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Bacon?
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. At this time, we're going to back up to number 1 there and catch Foothills. Brian, would you like to come up and give us your report, please? And this is Brian Basford with Kentucky River Foothills, Transportation Director.
Judge Taylor, magistrates, first of all, I'd like to thank the court for allowing me this opportunity to be here to bring the report. Second of all, I'd like to apologize for my tardiness. We were talking about technology as soon as I came in. Technology only works when the user puts things in correctly. So I'd put it in as 10:30 to 11 instead of 9:30 to 10. So, but I am the Transportation Director for Foothills Express. We are the transportation provider of Kentucky River Foothills Development Council Incorporated. It's a big mouthful to say, but we are the community action agency that covers Madison County. Since fiscal year 2010, July of 2009, the Madison County Fiscal Court has invested $44,000 into the public transportation infrastructure in Madison County. What a lot of people don't realize is that there is a public transportation infrastructure in Madison County. We're able to do this by building partnerships, and one of our strongest partners over the year has been the Madison County Fiscal Court with their injection and investment of $44,000. What that provides is what we call the Madison County Connector Service. It is a bus that runs from Berea to Richmond, connecting the two cities to provide seamless transportation between our networks. We have, in your packet, there's an overview of the service. There's also a ridership report showing the ridership from FY13 until now. I took over as the director in FY13 is when I began tracking. The tracking before that was not as accurate. Our technology wasn't quite up to date with our vehicle tracking and everything. So from FY13 to FY15, it's been one of my projects to make sure that we're tracking our ridership. And as you can see, we've actually seen a little bit of a decrease over the last couple of years, but the record winter of this year was a big hit all across our system. So we were able to still make some gains over last year. FY13, we had 4,588 riders, FY14, 4,062, FY15, this past fiscal year, 4,048. And had it not been for the hard winter, we would have seen an increase over last year and probably gotten a lot closer to the 4,588. This is an essential network, and it's grown over the years. We started out in FY09 with a 10-passenger shuttle bus that ran back and forth. And we had a need over the last couple of years to upgrade that bus and add some capacity. So we were fortunate to be able to purchase a 12-passenger bus. And it may not seem like a big difference that it adds 2 seats, but it adds 2 seats to each round, which totals up to 32 additional seats every day that are available for riders to go between the 2 cities. We have riders that come in from a lot of different areas. I don't know where they come from. I don't ask them. I just ask them where they want to catch the bus. And they catch the bus from Berea to Richmond and from Richmond to Berea to go connect back and forth between the 2 financial centers. What a lot of people don't realize is that this is public transportation. This is not just, let's take our elderly and our infirm to the doctors and hither and yon to the Four Winds. This is, let's take Madison Countyans and make them more mobile. Let's take our Madison County folks who would have no other way, and let's give them that way. And that is the mission of Foothills Express, is to provide the means for people to maintain their lives of dignity, responsibility, respect, but most importantly, independence. We have folks who use our service to go from Berea to Richmond to access adult day facilities, from Southern Madison County to access doctors that they wouldn't otherwise have. But also on the opposite end, there are people who use it to access Southern Madison County's doctors, adult daycare facilities, dialysis facilities. And we've been able to use this as a transition step. With the expansion of the Affordable Health Care Act, it has opened up Medicaid transportation to a lot of our riders, and we were able to use the Madison County Connector as a stopgap to help those people who would have no other means to access their critical medical, dialysis, shopping, life enrichment, whatever you insert here, between the 2 cities without low-cost transportation. We charge $2 a day for riders to go between the 2 systems. You can't drive from Richmond to Berea for $2 anymore. So we're able to provide this service. Educational opportunities. We are fortunate in Madison County to have not 1 but 2 fully accredited 4-year educational institutions. So we've had students who have taken classes. Berea and EKU offer some dual enrollment classes, and we've had college students, international students, American students, low income, moderate income, students from all across the spectrum be able to access educational opportunities. In addition to that, one of the biggest barriers in rural Appalachia to gainful employment is a lack of transportation. So we've been able to use this service to provide access to transportation opportunities on both the north and south ends of the counties. We also are able to provide life enrichment. We have some folks that just want to go out and shop, plain and simple. I want to go to Walmart. I want to go to Kroger. I want to come to Berea to go to Old Town. I want to be able to get down into Southern Madison County, get out to the campgrounds. I can catch with a friend of mine there, and we do that. And we're able to do that because of the investment that the fiscal court makes. And what most people will see on the top is $44,000 invested in Foothills Express. But what they don't see is, as a federally grant-funded organization, we are able to take that $44,000 and match it dollar for dollar at the federal level. So that $44,000 then becomes $88,000 that we're able to use to operate some of our other services, which extend beyond Richmond and Berea into the rural parts of Madison County. We're able to use that investment to provide what we call our express service, which is our door-to-door service for those who aren't able to access the other systems, to go out into Waco, to go out into Bybee, to go way out into Gum Bottom, to go on up to the river, and bring these people where they need to go. So without that investment from the county, we wouldn't be able to operate not only the connector service, but we would lose our ability to operate in Madison County. So on behalf of the riders and on behalf of the staff of Foothills Express, I wanted to express a heartfelt thank you for this years-long partnership, and thank you for continuing it through FY16. I would also like to answer any questions that the magistrates or the judge would have.
Who actually owns Kentucky River Foothills Incorporated?
Kentucky River Foothills Development Council is a community action agency. It's governed by a board of directors. We have a chief executive officer, Ms. Vicki Jusefowicz, but then we also have a board made up of residents from our 4 core counties, which are Madison, Clark, Estill, and Powell.
Is that a paid position?
For
the directors?
the directors, yes.
Yeah, you're talking about the board of directors?
Mm.
The board of
No,
directors.
the board of directors are volunteers.
Yeah, they're
Oh,
volunteers.
okay.
But the administrative staff for the agency
Oh, sure.
are paid
Yeah.
positions.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm sure that you told us, but what are your operating hours and days, and how do they get in touch with you?
We operate Monday through Friday from, our core hours are 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. for all of our services. And the connector on the handout that I had sent in, we operate on the Berea side at 8, 10, 1, and 3. And then on the Richmond side, on the opposing hours at 9, 11, 2, and 4. And we have local numbers in Richmond and Berea. We have a 624-3236 and a 228-0000 number, plus a toll-free number that I don't quite have committed to memory, for people to be able to contact us. Most of our services, we ask for at least 48 hours notice, but that's never hard and fast, because where the need is there is where we are. So if somebody calls today needing a ride tomorrow, if we have the availability, if there's a seat open on the bus or if there's a time slot open, we'll still add them to our schedule.
How many buses are you operating at this time
Total fleet-wide, we have a fleet of 47 vehicles.
in Madison County?
Not in Madison County, that's all across the board. Madison County, we have 38 vehicles. Peak daily operation in Madison County, we have 27 to 29, depending on, we have more obviously in operation when EKU is in, because we also provide the on-campus transportation for EKU.
But this is vehicles, this could be minivans,
Anything from, we operate
Or
anything
the
from
12
small
passenger.
SUVs up to we have 28 passenger buses and our trolley as well.
But they're all transportation vehicles, though?
Yes,
for
sir.
public-
Yeah, they're all funded by grants and subsidies from the Federal Transit Administration.
have you seen the one that it's a little handicap, it's like a caravan that has Madison County transportation or something? Is that?
Yeah,
that's-
on the top of the handout, there's a picture of our 3 newest buses.
Mhm.
We were able to acquire buses for the Richmond Transit, the Berea Transit, and the Madison County Connector. So I put a picture of the 3 of those.
So if they notify you enough ahead of time, there's no reason that you can't serve them? and
That's
make
correct. That's
transportation
the beauty
available?
of public transportation, is there's no
Good.
requirements. We'll come to you if you need us to come to you.
That's good.
Well, I've never second guessed anything that you all done. The only drawback I had is, how do you let the public know that you're there?
We've done advertisements in the newspaper and on the radio. We're in the process of going through another round of advertisements. The joy of the grant world is we are funded from year to year, so once our advertising budget is spent, we're spent for the year. Our greatest asset has been word of mouth from our riders. Riders tell other riders who tell other riders who tell other riders, and then we supplement that with our advertisements. Our advertisements and all of our schedules and everything point to our website. I understand that some people don't have access to that, which is why we go the route of the newspaper and the radio when we can. It's just funding contingent, depending on, our funding comes from the Federal Transit Administration through the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet Office of Transportation Delivery, so we have a set budget every year for certain aspects. So FY15 just started, so we're getting ready to send out our FY15 advertising campaign, which will include some flyers that we'll get out on the buses to our riders that they can take to their friends, but also newspaper ads, radio ads, and if the funding is available, television ads for the area.
Chris, do we have it on our website?
If we don't, we'll put it on there.
Yeah, if anybody else has, I'd be more than happy. I've got some business cards with me that have our Foothills website on it. We'll get
I'm
together.
just saying, you know, the more people we get involved, the better this 44,000 is for us. And I'm sure there's people out there that don't know.
Do
But
you
you
ever
all
have-
do a good job. And I want to commend you on that, especially when somebody calls in and they have to be there tomorrow and you take time to schedule it. I want to commend you for that.
Thank you.
Some of these are necessities.
Mhm.
They're just not shopping.
Yeah.
Some of them are necessities.
And some of them are emergent necessities, and that's why we try to leave our flexibility. I couldn't do it on my own. I have a fabulous staff. I've got 2 dispatchers in the office right now that are working. I have a fleet manager on the road taking care of all of our road calls, and 36 drivers scattered across the 4 counties that without them, the wheels wouldn't roll. I'm just the figurehead and the pretty face, so you see how bottom of the barrel we are, but
How many times do you ever have an empty seat when you're going from Berea to Richmond?
it depends on the day. The connector is a weird animal to try and peg. 8 o'clock in the morning, there's not an empty seat that first round coming up, but usually during the middle of the day, there's some seats to be had. But then at the 3 o'clock from Berea to Richmond and the 4 o'clock from Richmond to Berea, we're usually packed to the gills, everybody
Yeah.
going home.
Right, yeah. All right, any other questions, guys? Thanks, appreciate you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you being here, thanks for your time. Next on the agenda is the judge's report. Don't have a whole lot of stuff. One of the things is animal shelter administrative assistant in our EMA position. The application's all been turned in. The application process has been closed, and now it's in the review process. We did ask just for the court's information on our EMA director. We got with Mayor Conley and Mayor Barnes and asked them to recommend somebody to help us and assist with our decision recommendation to the court for our EMA position. So that'll be sort of our hiring committee. It's made up of some representative of Richmond and Berea. I wanted to give a little Creek Rock update. You know, we've been working with the Division of Water. We've had some great communication between them. We've all met with them, and I just want to let the audience know, people that are watching on TV, that you know, we are allowed to get in the creek without getting a permit, as long as you go through their one-step removal process. And what I'm going to do is encourage and recommend to the audience that you get on the Division of Water's website and you get their one-step removal guidelines off there and thoroughly read them so you can understand them. I don't want anybody coming back to the court saying that, well, you told us we could get in the creek. It's very important that citizens and people that are being problemed with the rocks in the creeks, that they know to go through the one-step guidelines by the Division of Water. Y'all have any comments on that? The next thing on the report is public meeting. Want to make a note. Everybody needs to make note of this. We had asked the state to choose Madison County as one of the places that we could have a open public meeting on the oil and gas development in Kentucky. They actually sent us a letter and denied us on that because they said we didn't have as many people with contracts in Madison County as there were in other areas. And they're actually holding the closest one to us here in Madison County is on July the 23rd at the Center for Rural Development. And that's in Somerset from 6 to 8 p.m. So any citizen, any of the magistrates, any elected officials that want to go to that, they are going to have a public meeting for the oil and gas development in Kentucky on July the 23rd at the Center for Rural Development, which is in Somerset, Kentucky, from 6 to 8.
And that meeting's only on the drilling aspect. It doesn't
That's right.
apply to the compressor station.
No.
The pipeline. It's only on the drilling.
That's right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's exactly right. Good comment, John. Thanks. Again, be sure to review our website for all department information and employment opportunities at MadisonCountyKY.us. And then just another reminder that our Whitehall Park is still closed until October the 31st. So we're getting closer. We can open it back up. So at this time, I'm going to invite Angel to come up. We wanted Angel to give us just an update on our occupational tax.
She said she was going to introduce me.
Well, go ahead. You can. Yeah.
Hello, I'm Angel Powell. I'm the Occupational Tax Administrator for Madison County. The Occupational Tax Administrator is responsible for collecting net profits for the county and the payroll tax for the county, and as well as the business license for the county. The business license are $10. They are for anyone who is going to be doing business in Madison County, but outside the city limits of Richmond and outside the city limits of Berea. Because they have their own local governments, anything inside their city limits are considered their jurisdiction. So we only collect the county jurisdiction outside those city limits. When people come to me and they apply for a business license, you can get the application online. We can give you an application in the office, or you can also get an application at the Planning and Zoning. The applications are looked at the Planning and Zoning for any type of zoning issues. If they're not issued until they're approved if they have a zoning issue. So I cannot issue a business license to someone if the zoning has been denied by the Planning and Zoning Office. There are circumstances when they can apply for a conditional use permit, and those applications would just be held out until they can be approved. The net profit tax works the same way as versus anything inside the city versus anything outside the county, outside the city limits, which is county. We collect net profits on businesses. It's the net profit from the business income on any business income that they made inside inside Madison County but outside the city limits. So the net profits are 14% of our occupational income or revenues. And we have about 2,600 taxpayers that have a net profit that's turned into us. That is farmers, businesses, contractors, home businesses, anything like that. And that's approximately about $538,000 a year. The payroll taxes that we collect are on any employees that companies have inside Madison County, outside the city limits, that they're taxed on 100% of their gross wages. So there's any company that has any employees that are, they're doing any, that have any payroll, that have any payroll in Madison County will have 1% of their gross wages withheld and submitted to the occupational tax department. And the revenues on that is about 84% of our occupational tax, and it's about $3.2 million a year. And we currently have about 920 taxpayers that submit an occupational tax to us. The business license are 2% of our revenues for Madison County occupational tax. It's about $20,000 a year. The 2014-15 revenues worth of around $3.8 million for the occupational taxes. We do issue refunds, and the court will see refunds come through on the claims listing sometimes, and I wanted to explain why sometimes people are getting refunds. There are circumstances where someone has made an estimated payment on their net profit because they filed an extension and they believe that they're going to owe X amount of dollars and they don't end up owing that much. So they're going to request a refund for any amount that they have overpaid us. So you'll see a refund request for that. There are circumstances when people have withheld Madison County and city payroll withholdings and realize that they shouldn't have withheld the county, only the city. So sometimes we have to refund those payroll taxes. And that's pretty much what my office, what I do.
Is there some with military?
There are some with military,
That get refund?
and that is correct. Thank you for mentioning that. The Department of Defense will send people out on leave, or not leave, but I'm not sure what I'm trying to explain. They'll go out with a deployment, yes.
Yeah.
If they're out on deployment, the Department of Defense will still continue to withhold their Madison County wages and then submit it to me. And when they come back, they have a process that they go through with getting me their leave statements and paycheck stubs, and then they request a refund for the time that they were out on leave. So I will give refunds back to Department of Defense people when they are out of the country.
Angel, I got a question.
Okay.
Are all farmers required to have a business license?
The business license is exempt for farmers. The only thing the farmers would be, the only time the farmer would get a business license is if they did anything that was not on a Schedule F for farming. If they had Schedule E for farm rental, then they would be considered to have a business license.
I know I've got a business license. I always renew it and I always pay my net profit, which not always a profit, but I didn't know whether every farmer was required for that or not.
It just depends. They shouldn't if they file just a Schedule F tax return. If they have any other income, such as rental income or anything, there's different ways. And some farms are like 1120 S's, and they have to, the bigger corporations, they do have to have a business license. But farmers are exempt if they're just farming agriculture.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Any other questions, guys?
I can answer questions better than I can talk.
Angel, I appreciate it.
No problem. I'm in
Thanks
the
a lot.
finance office, and if anyone has any questions or anything, you can come and see me.
Sounds good. Thank you. Appreciate your report. This time, comments from the magistrates. Tom?
Well, it's been another 2 good weeks, and we've had lots of calls, as you can imagine, still about getting road repairs and things like that. And, you know, we're still getting caught up. We're doing good. The road crew's doing great. We've had a lot of emergency things like the storm last night. Within the last 2 weeks, we had several trees that was blown down over in the 4th District down at Poozy. over off of Cal East, and those were all cleaned up, and had to bring people in for some of that. So our road crews are doing great. Willie, thank you very much. You guys keep up the good work down there. I was impressed with the classes that I sit in. Shannon, you guys and Colleen, you're doing great work on that. Just keep up the good work over there. I also had the opportunity to meet with Michael Bryant and EPA out on 25 to look at a property out there. And Michael, thank you for your work out there. We need to continue to help folks like that. Every single Miss Williams needs our help. And so it's our responsibility to stay on top of that, and I certainly appreciate that. Once again, if I give my phone number out, and I know it works because I get calls. So, but if you have a problem and you need my assistance, you call me at 200-9765, and I'll get back to you. It may not be that very day, but I'll call you back. So, thank you.
Thanks, Tom. John?
I also been working with Michael on some flood victims, and we're trying to work out some situations and help those people. I want to thank Scott for initiating the new hire for the animal removal truck driver. I know some farmers have been needing that back on the road, so that's a good thing. Appreciate all Jimmy does with the fire department and Scott and Willie. So we've got good department heads, and I think we're trying to move in the right direction. We've had some more rough weather with all these storms and stuff, so just everybody hang in there if you need some assistance or have some brush down or road needs repaired or rock, scooted out of the road where they're washed in the road. Just give us a call, and appreciate working with you. Thank you.
Thanks, John. Roger?
Tom and John's about covered it as far as all the help we get from different departments. We're just fighting the water. Everybody knows that. It's a matter of just letting the rain start before we can do a lot of our jobs. And the Valley View Ferry is close to high waters. It's not unusual this time of year. That's all we got.
Thanks. Larry?
Don't have anything.
Appreciate it.
But we're glad you're here.
Yeah, we're glad to be here. And Brett.
Judge, real quickly, and I typically don't have any comments during the magistrates or the department heads moments, but just to let the court know that the Commonwealth Attorney, David Smith, and I had sought a joint grant to help launch a rocket docket program here in Madison County. As a result of the heroin legislation that was passed last year, there was some funding that was given to try to assist prosecutors in more quickly getting through some lower level drug offenses, some offenses that might be in more need of treatment, other opportunities than just prosecution. We found out last Friday that we were approved for a grant. It's primarily due to the efforts, quite frankly, of the Commonwealth Attorney, but I agreed to assist him in this effort to try to be more efficient when it comes to prosecuting certain lower level nonviolent offenses. So in the next few weeks, we'll be in the process of attempting to hire someone to fill a position that might help us identify certain cases that we can move through quicker. And if so, would hope it would help Doug's situation with some lower level offenders that might not, for different reasons, to be able to get out on bond. I think it'll be a good program. It's been tried many times over the years. We're pretty fast here as it compares to other jurisdictions, but we did identify this as an opportunity to be able to even become more efficient. And so just wanted to let you know about it because the Attorney General will probably make some announcement at some point in time. I think it'll be a good program, and we'll keep you up to date as things develop.
Absolutely, great.
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Comments from the audience? Anybody? At this time, I need a motion to pay the claims and approve the transfers.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Botkin?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Next court date is Tuesday, July the 28th, 2015 in Richmond. Again, that's Tuesday, July 28th, 2015 in Richmond. I need a motion and a second for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Master Tudor?
Yeah.
Master
Yes.
Botkin?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes.